guys, Darren here. Welcome back to Franker Farms. So today we're going to do the calipers, we're going to leave the rotors, and I've already repacked the wheel bearings when I inspected it at first, and we're going to swap out the brake pads too. So we need our 22 mil socket to break the wheels free. My air compressor is gone. It's actually my brother's compressor that I've been using for the last while. So until I get another air compressor, I got to do everything by hand, unfortunately, so that kind of sucks. So last time when I bought this truck, it had been parked for 2 years, and those brakes are just about metal on metal. There's still a few mil up there, but they've fallen apart. And unfortunately, because it was parked for 2 years, this caliper seized. The other side is totally fine, but this caliper seized and stuck on the brakes, and it's been pulling like crazy when I've been driving it, and it kind of cooked this part of the brakes off. Gonna leave the rotors for now. They're not that bad, they just look bad. They should be okay. I know it's not good to put new pads on old rotors because you'll wear grooves into the new pads and wear them out faster, but we're just gonna go with this for now and it'll be fine. So this is an Allen head bolt right here, your caliper bolt, so I'm just gonna take those pins off.
These pins here are just a 3/8 hex head. Top one's giving me a little bit more trouble.
My problem that I'm having is I'm having a hell of a time getting this piston to compress inwards at all, and that's part of the issue. So that's why these things have to go. The brakes do work on it, they do stop in a pretty much straight line, so they're fine to use, but they should be replaced. Let's see if that's out now. There we go. Just needed a little bit. Alright, now prying this off is going to be a little bit of fun. Can't remember how I got it off last time because it's just so stuck. What do we lose here? A piece of pad already. It's garbage. These little spacers will fall out of the calipers. Don't want to lose those in the gravel. I do have a garage now, but just because we moved into the new place, everything's still in boxes, so I can't work in the garage, and I'm still going to be laying on my back in the gravel for just a little bit longer. So that got a little bit too much heat to it. So that's the top. Or sorry, I mean the front one. And this one's the back ones. There's like nothing for meat on these pads anymore, and they're cracked, they're way overheated, so that's not good. Okay. And then here's the clip for them. Oh, and you know what it is too, it's the rubber boot as well. So the rubber boot's disintegrated, this piston is seized and it won't go inside anymore. That's not very good. Alright, so it came with new pins, and yeah, it's not a 10, it's a little bit bigger. And this is my new caliper, which is way nicer, so that'll be nice to have. Just make sure that bleeder valve is closed. Alright, so the bolt for the caliper to get the flex hose off is an 11. Seating that on there nicely. Brake fluid's pretty nasty stuff, so I just want to make sure that I have a drip bucket like this to catch the stuff. I don't want it getting everywhere. Hopefully I don't pour it all over my jack. Have to be bolted on for this actually. Just because I'm putting so much torque on it. Let's grab one of my pins here and I'll just put the pin back in it. There we go. Okay, so that's free now. Take this off. So I'm going to put the flat sides facing inwards, that way I have a nice flat mating surface for the caliper itself. Put this in here. Helps to do this with clean hands so you're not getting rocks and stuff in there, because that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to make a seal. I'm just trying to get that flex hose in the back there, so I'm just going to put this new caliper on here, same way as I did before, and I'll just use one of the old pins just to hold it up. Alright, that's good for now, and now I can tighten this up if I find my ratchet, which is over here. So we'll just quickly tighten this up and then we'll get onto the brakes. Alright, so I think I'll save the flex hose. It's not as bad as I thought it was. So I'm going to save the flex hose. It's not leaking now, and I'll just do it down the road instead, because I really don't want to get into something where that starts to break, and then I don't want to do that. I hate doing brake lines. I don't have flare nut tools, so we'll leave that alone for now. And now I've got the flex hose attached, so now we can put this nice shiny caliper down here, and I can get the pads out and get ready to put the pads in. So there's two different sizes for these brakes too. These are the little ones. I can't remember what they called them. I think they're an 8 by 2 or something. And then they make a 13 by 2, and these ones luckily were a lot cheaper. So I'm just gonna match exactly what I had before. So your squealer is down here, and that was actually cutting into the rotor, which usually they never really do that. And this one is down here, so I'm just gonna mirror that. They look the same to me. Can't remember which way this came off because it was disintegrated at the time. So I figured that if this is holding on in the front here, then I want this to be holding on in the back side of the caliper. That way it'll be holding on straight. And same thing with this here. I believe these are just shims. They may have been riveted on there by the looks of it too. It's hard to say. But this lip matches the other brake pad just fine. So we know that these are the right ones. So we'll get this one installed now. And it's been such a long time since I've done something like this, like probably a year or two. I did brakes on my mother-in-law's car. I did used to work at a Ford dealership, and I wasn't a mechanic there, but I was an apprentice mechanic at another couple of shops actually after that. And it's just been like 7 years since that time, so a lot of this stuff is just jumping right back into it and trying to figure it all out again. So that's silicone brake caliper grease from when I worked at Ford actually. And I'm gonna put this on here now. Luckily the piston's all the way squeezed in. You don't need one of those fancy brake caliper compressors. I just have a huge pair of pliers that I use, and as long as you put the old brake pads in there, you can compress your caliper back in if you need to. And I've gone back and forth between using like Never Seas and other like high heat things before, or brake grease to do this. And basically you're just supposed to lube up this here, that way it's not getting stuck in one place. And then this pad here, can't remember how this goes in. I guess it just sits there like that. And you really don't want to be touching the surface of the brakes at all when you're doing this. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to a bit. Okay. There we go. So now they're on there. Now they're on there. All right. So it's not too bad. And then you just have to think about where these are gonna slide. So I will put some Never Seas on the tops of these here where they will slide, so I guess I'll grab that now. Again, moving, I don't know where anything is yet. Alright, so I got my Never Seas out. So I'll pull these back out again. There we go. This is just a quick and dirty brake job. I barely drive this truck. It's more for fun than anything, and a tool for helping out around the house. And now I'm going to take these fancy brand new pins that have never seen anything. And same thing, I don't want them getting stuck, so I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny bit of Never Seas on the bottoms of the threads. Good enough. This might take some messing around with to try to get them lined up. So I got my bottom one in. I was having trouble with my top, so I just moved on to the bottom. And I think, yeah, my top one's going in too now. Good. Wasn't so hard.
These are never that hard to get out anyways, but with the Never Seas, it's a little bit nicer to get them out next time.
You just torque those down to good enough, and now we gotta slowly get some brake fluid in this thing. Alright, so there's a way of bleeding brakes on your own, so you need to get a little hose, and this one, for some reason, I didn't make this, but it's got a little aerator thing on the bottom. I don't know if that's supposed to help, but I guess we'll find out. You need a water bottle. We're going to put some old brake fluid in it. There we go. So look at all these air bubbles coming out now. So that's a good sign. So there's fluid in my caliper now, working its way down. Still coming out of there. It's really good. And the old dirty fluid's working the way down too. It's kind of nice when you have clear tubing, because then you can see all the crap that's coming out of there. I'm pretty sure Fords just drain onto the floor, but or into the bucket, I mean. But these Chevys had to be complicated for some reason. So I'm just going to watch this for a little bit until the air stops, and just make sure that I maintain the level in the master cylinder. Okay, so after a few times, I think that we're done for this side now. I've got a decent pedal again. Now I'm just going to jack up the other side and do the same thing on the other side. So that's pretty much it. I already did the wheel bearings. Have to clean all this nasty gunk up now. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm sure that I'll be working on this truck a little bit more. Still need to do a lot of cleanup with it. I replaced the alternator because the bearing on that was pretty bad. I have another video for 1983 K1500 where it replaced pretty much the same part. It's the same alternator, same job. Looks like I may have maybe now either a water pump bearing or something like that that's gone. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's where that squeak is. So I've got to figure that out next. So I'm just over here on the driver's side now, and all I'm doing on this side is the pads. The flex hose is in good condition. It looks like these brakes were probably brand new by the looks of it before it was parked, and then it sat for 2+ years is what I was told, and then I got it and that side decided to stick, so that was awesome. This caliper even looks brand new too, so it's unfortunate that that happened. But now I've got to push this piston inside, so what I'm going to do is I've got these huge pliers here, and I'll try and stick the GoPro somewhere, and then I'll put the old brake pads in, use those to compress the piston back in without a fancy snap-on tool.
The main thing is you don't want to wreck that piston, and it's got to be even. It's way easier to do on cars. This is kind of heavy and annoying, so that's kind of the idea. You just want to gently squeeze it in, and I need to do one less setting on the pliers for this to work, one-handedly. I don't know how this is going to work for me here. Now it is going in slowly. You don't want to go too fast. You want to make sure that you try to do it evenly.